So, day 29 of National Poetry Month, which means we have one more reading after this one. One more. And I have decided I will be reading my favorite poem. And a few people will know what that is because I spent like years working on this poem. So, there's a preview of what's coming tomorrow night. Grand finale. It's a big one. It's a big poem. Like, it's a long poem, but it's also like a really good poem. So, that's all I'm telling you about that. So, like I said last night, spouse wanted me to read some of my work. And then I made him own up to that request by listening to me read a whole bunch of poems to try and decide which ones I was going to read tonight. And we settled on 3. And they're not super long. But it'll be fun to actually get some of my work actually recorded, voice recorded. I haven't done any recordings of my work in a long time. A couple of friends took some really great videos of me doing, like, World Poetry Day, for example, is a big thing at SUNY Boston. I love it every year. And so some people recorded that. I think my husband's recorded me at a couple of events. But this will be me throwing my stuff up on YouTube for the first time. Intentionally. So, before we get going on reading my stuff, I did want to give an update on the kitty cat, because I know there was a couple of people concerned. She is currently on the couch over there, curled up in a ball, sleeping. Little sore, but doing very well. So, she's been super cuddly, which is just killing me, because I don't like it that she doesn't feel good, so. But, other than that, she's doing really well. Okay. I don't want to take too long, I suppose. Let's just get this, pull that band-aid off. So I'm going to start with the poem that at the moment is the title poem of a new collection that I'm working on. And I don't know, this was one of those poems that just like the images sort of came slowly over time. So we'll see. This is called Gravity Bender. Before I knew its circumference, I knew the sun was a flower. I would stretch my arms out to hold, crossing one bare foot over the other, and on wobbly knees, I would orbit some dandelion, mouse-eared hawkweed, or dill. Marionettes spinning in the nothingness of a stage, planets rotating around my solar gravity well. Before I knew about centrifugal force, I felt like I could spin life out from my fingertips. A natural magic exposed in the wind as it rushed to do my bidding. Oddly enough, this poem got started in one of my very first creative writing classes. The prompt was, what was your first memory? And one of my first memories was just being a kid, just spinning around in my front yard. And I could just remember, like, the blur of flowers. So, like, Black-Eyed Susans were out, and there was, little bits of clover. So I wanted to try and replicate this really beautiful memory that I had. And it turned into that, which is turning into a title poem, which is, it's great. You can pull inspiration from anywhere. Which leads me to this next poem, which started off as a conversation that I had with my uncle. I love you, Uncle Jimmy. And he's always been interested in growing bonsai, and he's got some beautiful, beautiful plants that he's grown. But there was something that he said that for me just had a double meaning, and so I sort of took the double meaning and I ran with it. And this poem just happened really fast. It was just like the idea was there. Don't know if I'd been ruminating on it a long time or not. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. This poem is called Craftsmanship. My uncle once told me the secret of the art of bonsai, tree, shrub, or flower, was to teach the plant to stay small. They won't know how at first. The cells will multiply and spill forth, thinking there are no limits on a body. There will be limits placed on the body. You have to get the roots of a seedling. You need to teach it to think of itself as small, a delicate, fragile thing who thinks little of anything outside the universe of its ornate box of roots, the tender rot in the span of a few years. Ah. So this just, it goes to a theme that often shows up in my work, which is, just sort of what impact we have on each other, and how we can harm each other unintentionally, by, destroying someone's sense of personal growth. Don't do that. Anyway, the words just stuck with me after we had said them, and I guess within, it was just a few days, really, the turnaround on this particular poem. So sometimes it happens like lightning. Sometimes, there was one in here that I've been working on for 8 years. 8 years to write one poem. Is a good one, though. It's a good one. And the last one that I'm going to read tonight is, we couldn't decide whether or not to cut this one or not, because it's really fun to read, but it's really messed up. And this one I've actually published before. I believe this is in one of my chapbooks to Ghost City. So this one's called The End of an Era. Mayhem runs penny pinching through the Pentecostal penthouses. Someone said I'm coming up mellifluous again. You can find me in my mechanized peony garden, meandering and pausing to Marsilka. I've always had a penchant for pretty morsels of peptides. They are afraid, these peons. Some swear they saw me drinking nitrate to start the meiosis again. I'm making my own Eden. In fact, the last time I removed my pantsuit to molt into nucleotides, the monetary morals in town were paralyzed. Philosophically speaking, they can only paraphrase what surely happened. Maybe it's all in the knickers I string down the street for Orstra, or my pagan dance around the fire, bringing invidious stares. Let them see the marvel of my malignant pageantry. The nurturing of my May Day is ongoing, but this periwinkle mecca is the reason I midwife opposition to magnolia picking. Paving over moneyed moguls never crossed my mind. I don't care if I neuter the town's pay-per-view parade. I only want my meadowsweet intact. The mordant masses are no longer satisfied with my perpetuity, and the end of my orchard is nigh. Like I said, it's a little weird. But I love it, and the thing is like, it's weird in a way that people want to keep reading that poem. So, I've made a sort of prequel poem to this too. It's turning into a thing. We'll see where that goes, but congratulations. You now have a piece of my headspace. So, and thanks, spouse, for making me do this. Yeah, so that's where I'm I'm at in the middle of a work week. And the burnout is real, guys. Burnout is real. But there's a lot of really good work being done, and a lot of connections being reestablished across my campus community. My alma maters are all up and running, and everybody is churning out amazing work. I mean, this is the worst of circumstances to operate under, and everybody is doing amazing. And everybody needs to be just keep on being amazing, even if that amazing means that you're going to lay on the couch and just take a nap. Right? Or if you just need to watch Netflix, because, just the fact that you're surviving this is amazing. Like I said, I started this whole thing because this was my way to cope with all of the stuff going on, which, for me, being more introverted, to then go and do a YouTube series feels a little wrong. But, anyway, I'm not gonna hold you guys up. Thank you for hearing out a couple of my poems. Join me one more night for a very beautiful, very interesting poem. And happy day 29 of National Poetry Month 2020. The weirdest year on the face of the planet. Good night, guys.